Hello and welcome to the Club Development Podcast. My name is Andrew Jenkin. Our guest today is Raza Sadiq, the founder and chairperson of Active Life Club, a charitable organisation empowering young people through sport in the south side of Glasgow. Last week, Raza was awarded with the Lifetime Contribution Award by Sports Scotland for his outstanding dedication to supporting young people in Glasgow through Active Life Club. And the club are also up for Scottish Sports Club of the Year, also at the Sports Scotland Awards, not to mention a few others along the way. Over the course of this episode, we spoke about his motivation for starting the organisation back in 1999, the development of the club since then, the governance of the organisation, including the kind of strong inclusion of young people on their board, and plans for their 25th anniversary next year. So here is Raza Sadiq, founder and chair of Active Life Club. Raza, thanks so much for agreeing to join us today. I wanted to first congratulate you personally on your Lifetime Contribution Award from Sports Scotland, and then also Active Club Life on their nomination for Sports Club of the Year. It's kind of, I suppose, quite a big week for you.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me. And absolutely, it's a delight getting a Lifetime Achievement Award for something I started and never envisaged. I'll be receiving Lifetime Achievement Award for something, and being on a shortlist for Scottish Sports Award as another kind of a credit to the hard work. And we'll be celebrating 25th anniversary next year, so it's a nice kind of a wee gift prior to the anniversary.
Yeah, absolutely. I was hoping you could take us back to sort of the beginning of the club, and I suppose your kind of personal journey as well. How did you get your first steps into sport, and what was your kind of original motivation to start the organization all those years ago?
Yeah, I can take you back to 1999, and I was studying in Glasgow University to complete my community education and development program. And I felt like to start something which I can write about, because writing competencies could be sometimes difficult. And on that basis, a couple of like-minded people, and they wanted to play badminton. And at the same time, I was working in a health project to promote men's health. So idea came and establish a committee, £50 in the bank, and name Active Life Club was given at that time with no intention how this name will become a kind of a hub and well-known name. And this is how I started to pay and play and badminton for men's. And after around about a year time, and it's just grown, and too many people were attending, and we were booking courts, 8 courts, and jam packed. And then young people started coming and tinkering outside the courts and wanted to be involved. And there was a kind of a quite lethal mix, I will call it, because men wanted to play serious badminton and the young ones wanted to have a fun. And because of that fun, we have to really look into how we accommodate young people, and started asking men to go and book other venues and introducing them to other venues. And more young people came, and we started focusing on young people. Still, we offer services to parents, and so it's not the case we have given up on adults, but the young people has become the key kind of our driver for us to. And because the name suggests empowering young people through sports, so we wanted to live those values. And we used to offer so many sessions, 7 sessions a week, all run by volunteers, and no paid staff, very little resources. But I was a passion, and the young people were merging from across the Glasgow, and because it was a kind of a hub for them to come and play and socialize in a safer place. But it came with challenges as well, because when you're bringing people across the Glasgow, then it comes with some other issues which you have to deal with them. But over the years, I've seen transaction young people becoming volunteers, and then young leaders, and becoming on the board. And it just really, this is our journey plan. There was no huge vision. There was no plan. We will be reaching to 24 years. And and it just really keep growing and it keep growing. And it's first time we have taken a paid staff in 2021. So we have delivered a lot of provision from all sports to outdoors to leaderships to you name consultation to and any other community events and research. And we were involved getting young people to get involved, making sure they are gaining their transferable skills to succeed in education or when they move out to employment, and so they could use that reference to. And this is how it evolved from just a wee small sports club or a badminton club into becoming an organization which is catering the needs for disadvantaged young people.
Yeah, I noticed on your website you discuss it's not necessarily just sport, but sport is
Yeah.
often the vehicle you use to kind of empower young people, as you say, as the kind of the strapline of the charity says. What are some of the challenges that the young people are coming to you with that you're kind of helping to address through your activities?
Uh, when we started, obviously, this was something totally new, and they never had that kind of a provision where they can relate with, they can trust. And this is how the message of belonging kicked in, because then they started calling ALC. So ALC has become a kind of a brand name. And the reason was because it's a word of mouth coming through, because young people, they wanted to really come and enjoy. And at the same time, obviously, probably they've been kind of deprived from being in a place which they can call that's their club. So these are the challenges. Obviously, the challenges of issues in school and issues in a community, and some young people were involved in not very healthy kind of a carry on and getting involved in antisocial, and there was a multiple factors, and based on those factors, we use sports as a medium, as you said, but we never saw sports just only for a competitive nature. It was a more like a building characters and building self-esteem, and giving them tools where they can really go and experience and get involved and become active citizens, and at the same time bringing them close to service providers. And for example, we had Speak Up Be Heard events with the police and counselors, and it's just really giving them a understanding of how you could be involved in a civic participation. You can have your say, you can shape services. And they were kind of a forefront of active life all the time. And still, we were probably the club who had at one stage 80% of young people on our board. So, and at that time, we were not really a financially kind of a rich club. We are still not, but that shows sometimes money is important. But the reality is how you get people actively involved in a decision making processes, and which becomes a success itself because they own it and it belongs to them, and they like to give back. And I can give example. For example, the parents used to come, like kids are coming telling me my father used to come or my mom used to come, and they ask me to go, and it's that's a kind of a credibility we have created, and it become kind of a family kind of oriented a club. And it's I see regularly now, or even young staff, they're under the age of 26, and a lot of young female volunteers. This is something we managed to tackle, gender inequalities. And for example, a Muslim women wearing hijab and a young female, they come with a long coat, and so but they're welcome and they're coaching boys. And we're trying to break that myth as well, because at one time we were seen as a boys' club because a lot of boys used to come.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I know a lot of your activities are for free as well. So, how is it? And you mentioned you know you're not a financially wealthy or well-resourced club in that sense, at least. How do you go about funding the activities that you deliver?
That's a big question actually, because the group we are working in, and it's a disadvantaged community, and it's a well kind of a researched, and the people living in a poverty. And but the COVID has really amplified the suffering as well. And at one stage, we used to charge a small amount for young people to pay and take part in activities, but they were very affordable. The reason we wanted to make sure we don't want anybody to stop playing sports because of they can't afford to. And sometimes the larger family, two, three siblings coming and a club, and if you charge full amount, and definitely you're putting a blockage to their participation. So we made sure we will encourage young people to take up this healthier option. And sports, as I said, builds character, and the basis of that, we don't want to deprive anybody in a sense. But at the same time, running and how you sustain that opens a question. The fundings are not really the way it used to be at one stage, but at that time we were not very keen, because I think the success came from who we are, and we were not dictated by anybody. We were really working with young people, asking them, and we were offering sports sessions, and they were kind of overly subscribed, and we are still overly subscribed. I can tell you our Saturday session could be 100 plus, and it's just managing that expectation. But we do apply for some small funding, and especially 2021, thanks to Glasgow City Council, and one of the funding stream we applied, and we managed to secure funding to uh, employ staff. And because running on a voluntary basis, you reach to a peak where you cannot really function further, and the chances are you're going to decline. And for that reason, for us to really move where we are and moving to a next phase, that was so important, and we were successful. And since then, our kind of trajectory is going further up. Now we not on that peak, we are further up. So it's just really thinking how we, and now two, three staff, and we're building staff in a sense of young ones to, we encourage some youngsters to take up sports coaching programs and sessions. So this is how we are trying to really sustain. We do small activities, offer in schools where we can get some money out of it, and some mini projects, and generate a kind of a financial stability. But it's a hard going. You're always chasing, because now I've got responsibility for staff, so making sure we sustain them, and
Mhm.
and they can develop the project. So it's a kind of a mutual approach, and parents asking parents to support when it's required. And but we are trying to really alleviate poverty, but I cannot really say with conviction we will reduce poverty, but we are making small contribution towards.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. I wondered as well if you could touch upon the type of impact that you've been able to deliver as an organization since starting, perhaps as a, I don't know if you know statistics off the top of your head, that might be quite a hard thing to sort of throw on you, or even just case studies of young people that have kind of graduated through your activities.
Yeah, I can share some. Obviously, going back to, and the number wise, there was not a day or a session which will be undersubscribed. That's the one thing I can share with full confidence. Last year, a report, we engaged with 958 or so in a year. That's a large number for a
Mm.
small community organization, and majority is run by volunteers with small number of staff. And but I've seen that we have delivered. We're not just simply offering sports, you mentioned at the start, because we are delivering employability options for young people, where they can pick up skills, go through coaching, build their kind of a portfolio that could help them to, for their college applications, university applications as well, because we're taking young people from school. We are collaborating with some other institutions to look into how they can support them. So recently we started some partnerships, and which will be focusing on school placements and underrepresentation in STEMs. And so it's just really, we're using this as a medium, but idealistically, young people love to take part in sports, and when they come to take part, and this is where we mold them to something else so they can get involved in there. So when it comes to outcomes, I know So many people are professionals. Some they had a difficult kind of transition from school, but they are successful through the help of active life. And some people change their kind of a career, going from business or admin course to sports coaching and then physiotherapy and these kind of things. So I can see, I cannot say like we have changed the world, but what we have done is within our own capacity, we made a mark on the community and the young people, and the legacy will be remembered.
Absolutely, yeah. The governance of the organization, you mentioned it's kind of traditionally been very youth focused. I mean, what kind of an impact has that had on the activities of the organization, and how kind of intentional was that to make sure that there were always young people at the forefront of how the organization was governed?
Yeah, keep in mind, we need to live the values. If we're calling us a youth organization, so we need to have young people at that stage in decision making kind of processes. And we still consult, and we consult a lot to young people when we are developing things. And one of the good example I can share with yourself this Saturday, and we are already talking about, could we have Active Life Club mascot for the 25th anniversary? So how we should really go about it. So we had some ideas, and we put those ideas to young people, and we went through voting system. So we asked them to, and that was very interesting. And because they were having their own say, and they were saying things, and which you can see they're keen. And one of sometimes we might have ideas, but we think, yeah, that will resonate very well with young people. And we had a visual of puffin, and most of them they were calling it penguin. So now you can see, and we thought, well, it's they will understand, and but that's not the case. So I think so they learn through that process when they get into those kind of conversations, because we have done, for example, action research in the past, where we ask young people to conduct research, learn about research skills and interviewing skills and writing reports. So we've done that one because that was a older group. We are embarking on another, hopefully, and we started working on a documentary with Glasgow University and a GMAC. So which came through, and it's a nice kind of connection. Active Life started from Glasgow University when I was studying. So things are sometimes things are coming in our way and we don't even think, because and something happens, because we are always proactive to work in collaboration and a partnership. So that's been our survival, because not having a huge capacity and expertise. But when it comes to governance now, we've got a quite sound board in a sense of making sure we have created a youth forum to really ask them to feed into, because having a majority of young people on the board as a trustee, which was absolutely living the values, but it was sometimes holding us back in a sense of expertise when it comes to applications and managing. And so we try to balance. We created a parents forum, we created a youth forum, and making sure we are taking their kind of input, anything we are devising. And I think so that's working really well, and that's giving us a kind of a process to grow. So I can see that the benefit of having a real kind of meaningful engagement, and not just so professional and tokenistic, but we realize. But that's why we keep trying. We try different things. We're not frightened of failure, because where are we going to fail? Because if we run a session and it's already over kind of subscribe, and what failure that will bring. So it's
Yeah.
just really that's the kind of approach. We don't really sit and plan for a 3 months to organize a project or a partnership. We can agree partnership very quickly, even on the phone, if
Mm.
it's something which will help young people and will help community, and why we should be really holding back. That's the kind of approach we have. And
Yeah.
this has been a success. It comes with extra kind of a workload on you, and
Yeah.
you have to really balance that one. But slowly and gradually we are getting quite savvy. The young staff are getting savvy, and it's just, I think so we are heading in a direction where I can see how the project will further grow, because a huge potential, because our client base is huge, and you can reach out to the families, and we know the culture, and they trust us, and we trust them, and it's a word of mouth, and recommendations are happening. So all these are a very, very positive vibes for us to see, and this has been the case for the past 24 years.
Yeah, absolutely. And it must be, really reassuring for the number of partners that you have to see your beneficiaries involved so actively in not only the activities you're running, but the governance as well in that sense.
Oh, absolutely, because the key kind of focus is really inclusion, and we want this message to go across to mainstream organizations. And if we have a strong base and we have tried and tested methods to engage with community, and why not really having those collaborations to make sure our message could resonate to mainstream organizations, and we can connect with mainstream organizations, because they do have resources, they've got a lot of expertise, they've got processes which we could benefit, and they could benefit from our kind of a grassroots engagement within the community. And I think so, my belief is sports unites, and racism divides. And this is something have been the case, because I've been very proactive when it comes to challenging racism and inequalities, and I, I see there are still a lot of barriers, and that's the kind of a prime objective we have. We want to push those boundaries. We want mainstream organization to embrace, welcome, and it's not. I don't. I always say it's not rocket science really to promote equality. It's just really you having those system in place, and you really want to try, and rather than being afraid of trying, and then have a genuine kind of a desire to bring change. And I think so it's doable. We have done it, we have seen it, we are delivering it, and without huge capacity. As I said at the start, there was no vision, no big plan, and it's still obviously now we've got business plan, but just
Yeah.
but then again, even not having a business plan for 24 years, and still we were successful. So it means if you are really keen, you want to bring a change, you want to bring community together, I'm sure sports is one of the best medium you could.
Yeah, and I think that just goes to show how embedded some of those values are
Yeah, yeah.
within the organization, that they, that it has just naturally happened as a result of the things that you were doing. But I wanted to ask about some of the challenges that you've faced from its inception back in 1999 to 2023. Obviously, Scotland is a very different place as is the rest of the UK. What have some of the challenges been that the club has faced? And I guess I mean that in terms of societal challenges,
Mm.
but also specific to the club.
Well, the biggest challenge was our own self-doubt as well, because being too small, you're not seen as a viable partner. You're always running around with a piecemeal approach, where mainstream organization might approach you and, oh, we've got a couple of £100 and I would like to work with you. And sometimes you are taken away from your key objective, and you become kind of a passive recipient of that funding, and that funding doesn't really allow you to grow, and it actually takes you back. So these are the challenges I've seen over the years at the early start, and we were not going anywhere. We were just a kind of a anybody can pull a plug, and will be gone, because we don't have capacity, we don't have funding, we don't have resource, and we are just delivering a piecemeal kind of a approach dictated by some of the funding. But then we had a good chat, and we said we are not really moving the way we should be moving. So we started taking a lead role. And that day has changed everything. We have grown, we become more mature. People start really trusting us. People start thinking, yes, we could work. And some of the partnership came from with the police to armed forces, to you name it. And these are the organizations, they will never touch you at the start. So it's just these were the similarly then people not believing in, yeah, you're just a wee small thing,
Mm.
and you're just a wee club, So that was another challenge for us to really make people realize we are a complete organization. We are trying to bring change using sports as a medium, but that was a hard one to convince people. Or
Was
you just
was there like a turning point for you in that, in terms of, so you mentioned that there was a discussion about, you know, taking control of the destiny, but was there one kind of break that you got with a funder that kind of allowed other funders to see and back you, or was it just simply you developed such a strong track record over those years that they couldn't ignore you?
I think it's a both. It is a small amount of. I remember at one point we got £1,500, and we were so happy. And we delivered certain things, and we created a report, and we were good, really capturing visuals and going back to funders and sharing that experience. And similarly, you're right. We started building that kind of a capacity and rapport, and as kind of people started seeing, oh, they're quite good because, and probably I don't know, you dipped into our social media, and most of the visuals will be young people taking part in things in a large number and variety of things. And 2007, first time we received award for our services, and from that year till now, there's no year we never received anything. So every year, sometime in a year, six odd awards coming through, and young people were getting awards, and then the media coverage started kicking in, and we did Eid in the Park, a couple of events in a locality to tackle Islamophobia as well. And then we took part in Hate Crime Week, and so we started really going outward rather than simply staying on the pitch, but we were really trying to create those kind of activism within young people. And that was another one where we started holding workshops. I think so. It's a build up. It was a slow build up, and still I'm not saying we are getting millions. That's not the case. We are still small, but we are managed well to be counted as as an organization. But I can see the the legacy, the post 25. We've got a huge kind of a map in my head, and some of the staff, and we are discussing with the committee how, and some potential partners. We are discussing with how we want to celebrate the 25th anniversary to showcase bringing organizations together, the bringing organization to our doorstep as well, so they can learn those tools, what we've been collecting for years. Can they meet people? Can the community meet with mainstream? Can we have that hybrid model? So all these things are being discussed, and the documentary we are trying to create is just making sure that could resonate with people. I was part of it. Can I be part of it? It's just making sure that the impact we made, and the people tell the story to other people, and this could be replicated. So it's just really, these are the big thinking behind. Don't have money yet. I don't know whether we will need money, because we are looking into building collaborations. And one of the good example I shared about documentary as two student, they will be doing their dissertation, creating a video. So they are learning. We are getting something. Community will learn from it. Yeah, it's obviously there's a time commitment to it, and similarly we will be doing. But we have taken a lot of students from universities on a placement as well.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of a model we are creating now, and that model could be, because we've got six main key objectives in our constitution. So we are not restricted to sports. We are offering integration. We are tackling inequalities. We are alleviating poverty. We're building self-esteem and confidence, and sports as a medium, and employment options. So we are kind of offering a mix kind of part of uh, activities where people can pick and choose, and they can really take all of them to grow. So it's just something is there for someone who's really looking to work along with us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's a number of things that strike me about the organization. One is exactly that, that although it is sports focused, it is very much about using sport for those kind of broader societal objectives. But equally, the number of partners that you successfully engage with, and I can only assume that's because of your kind of success rate of engaging with young people, which can be a kind of a hard audience to reach at times. So I think that needs to be congratulated. I wonder what you think the organization will look like in another 24 years' time.
That's a big question, but one thing I can say with conviction, because I'm very satisfied at the moment because the way the young people are coming on board, especially young staff, young volunteers, particularly female volunteers and staff. And I can see, I'll give you a good example. Another day when I received award and I said, uh, active life is in my DNA. And we were in a meeting, and one of the staff who's leader, who's managing, and she said, "I feel the same." So that was a light bulb moment for me.
Mm.
Something is being built now. That fear and issues. What will happen if I'm gone? Have I built that succession planning? And that succession planning is happening, and which gives me confidence and anyone else who work with us to see people. It's not all about Raza. It's all about now how other people are taking that active role to take a lead. And I think so that's the kind of a success for me to see for I don't know how many years, but I can see this will be a safe transition because I'll be the time will come when I will say goodbye to to club. But again, I don't know in reality how it will happen because as I said, it's in my DNA, and it's like your own baby. You started for 24 years, day in day out, evening, weekends, you name it, and you're always there. And I'm not that type of chairperson who just simply attend meetings. I'm someone who's hands on. I'm there, and I'm there to model that kind of a practice for other people to see. So that's the kind of a very hopeful, and I hope I answer your question. But this is how I see. I think so. Succession planning is happening, and it's very positive.
Yeah. Well, I just want to thank you again for giving up your time to talk to us, and congratulate again on your lifetime contribution award, thoroughly deserved, and also wish you good luck at the awards for the Club of the Year nomination that you're up for as well.
Thank you for having me, and thanks for the best wishes. But definitely, this year is a big year. We're up for a few more, by the way, just to let you know. So we're up for a Scottish Women in Sports Award as well, and a sports champion, and we're up for a Glasgow Sports Award as well. So there are a few good things coming on the way, and I'm quite looking forward to how the next year will be planned. But again, I'll be happy to stay in touch with yourself and to see where we can really amplify this message to across the sporting arena.
So that was Raza Sadiq, chair and founder of Active Life Club. I found that a fascinating conversation with Raza, really interesting to hear his motivation and continued motivation to stay involved in the development of the organization, not to mention its growth over the years, how they've tackled issues around funding, how they've tackled the issues of scaling up as a kind of a small community organization. And just there was a lot of takeaways there for me around how they kind of created that turning point in the development of the organization, how they involved young people, how they were first able to appoint a member of staff. So I think a lot of learnings there for community organizations. I suppose the two biggest ones for me were the two I mentioned towards the end of the interview. One around just the sheer number of partners that they're able to engage with because of their connectedness to young people within the community, which I think can be quite difficult for some people to do, but also their ability to include young people within their governance. I think two hugely commendable achievements that they've managed over the time. It'd be great to see what their plans are for their 25th anniversary next year. So there it is for this episode. We hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to chatting soon.